So today, let's talk about Zillow. How does Zillow work? How accurate are those estimates? Does it even work? And why does it even exist in the first place? Those are all great questions, some of which we probably haven't thought about before, such as why does Zillow exist? It may very well be a little different than you initially thought. Hey, this is Steve Turner. I'm the new home specialist, and let's dive in and learn a little bit more about what's really going on behind the scenes at Zillow. Since today, anybody can post almost any information they want out there on the web, it's more important than ever to actually think about what information we're getting, how accurate is it, and why is it really there in the first place? If we look at that, let's apply that to Zillow. What is the purpose of Zillow? How does it really make its money? Why does it exist? Currently, the #1 revenue generating source for Zillow is by real estate professionals paying for leads from their website. So, what does Zillow need? Zillow needs leads. Zillow needs your contact info. Why? So they can sell it back to real estate agents who are currently willing to pay money for your information. As such, we have to think, okay, how accurate is the information they're giving me in exchange for the information that they expect to receive from myself? So here's the really interesting part with Zillow, is they have found a way to get information that you're looking for. Basically, the details of our listings out there into the marketplace that you want to learn more about, right? And in return, they've also figured out how to get your information into their system as well. So basically, what Zillow really is a huge portal that contains information from buyers and sellers and real estate professionals. They then take all of that data and they then find a way to capitalize on it. Nothing wrong with that, is there? Not at all. The way they do that is, again, they take our information provided to you, and in exchange, you provide your information to them, which they then in turn sell back to real estate agents. Now, it'd be one thing if it was, say, the house that I was listing, and they were to take your information, forward it on to me. That would be very beneficial, and that's what most every other website out there does. It allows me and my sellers to know what the marketplace and how it's reacting online to their property. When Zillow steps in, guess what? Just because they're collecting your information on that property doesn't necessarily mean it makes it to me, the listing agent of that property. Nope. Instead, they're going to sell it to the agent or agents, we're going to come back to that in a minute, who are willing to pay the most for it. So, the reason I say agents is because while you think if I put my information in, the listing agent of that property is going to get back in touch with me, that's not necessarily the case. And in fact, many times it's not just one real estate agent who is paying for your information. So what happens next? You hit the button, you submit your information, and in the next 24 hours, congratulations, you have probably just received a phone call, email, and or text from somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 4 to quite possibly as many as 20 different real estate professionals. In those 20, maybe not, the listing professional, the listing agent may have been one of those agents. In all sense and purposes, that really can become kind of a nightmare for yourselves, right? Well, it's also a nightmare for real estate professionals who are paying their money on leads that, again, there's a very, very slim chance that's actually going to pan out for them. But here's something that's even more important. The information that goes on Zillow is usually outdated by the time you've seen it. Now, Depending upon the real estate market, what we're talking about here is outdated, is we could be talking information that could be anywhere from 2 to 72 hours old. Well, if your real estate market is not really hot, if it's taken 6 months to sell a house, 48, 72 hour old information may not make that big of a difference. But if it's like our current market that we're experiencing right now today, gotta tell you, 24-hour information is old and outdated. How many times have you pulled up a house on Zillow, had the agents bombard you with phone calls, only to turn around and find out, oh, that house you saw this morning actually sold 2 days ago? Sure, it's easy to say, hey, Zillow, you didn't have the information accurate, get angry with the agents because they didn't update it. The agents typically update that very fast in our computer system. The same computer system that eventually Zillow pulls their information from. Depending upon when they pull it, and depending upon how frequently they refresh their servers, will then determine how accurate that information is and how timely it is when it makes its way to you. So, in a really hot market, Zillow is not just costing you aggravation and bombardment from follow-up from other agents, but it's also delaying the accurate information to you, and you may very well be missing out on your property, the property you were looking to buy, the property you might have actually purchased had you known in enough time. Now, there are some ways to solve that. Easiest way is to work with a professional who has direct access. Somebody who is a licensed real estate professional should be able to keep you in touch instead of relying on these third-party applications such as Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. Again, sources that aren't even connected to the local real estate associations. Now, another challenge that comes from Zillow's inaccuracies, which has a tendency to pit real estate professional against home sellers, are what we call the zestimates. Those estimates that Zillow has basically tried to create for your property. Now, those are not created by any real estate professional. It's basically an algorithm, a mathematical process, a mathematical equation of looking at data and trying to make a prediction of what that means to your property. But we know all properties essentially have some sort of unique features which are not factored into that algorithm at all. In fact, according to Zillow's own online document, their estimates could typically be somewhere in 10 or in some cases as much as 20% off. That's a pretty big mistake. In fact, on average, the average zestimate by their own information, their own statistics, the average zestimate is off by at least $14,000. I don't know about you, but I would personally love to have $14,000 more. Again, they could be making promises that are 10% over what your property really is. The way those estimates are figured out has a lot to do with how many similar properties to yours in your area have recently sold and gone to settlement and made it the public record. You don't have a lot of properties in your area that sell, meaning maybe there's just not a lot of homes in your zip code. People would love to live there, so the homes that do show up for sale disappear very, very fast, and there's not a lot of information for their algorithm to use. As such, you are going to experience a greater inaccuracy in your zestimate. Likewise, maybe your house is quite different than the surrounding homes, where there are a lot of sales of those other type houses. Maybe they're a little bit bigger, maybe they're a little bit smaller, but they're all in your general area, and they tend to sell And when one sells, another one shows up. So there's a lot of activity in the market, but your house is totally different from most of the average houses around you. Your Zestimate is going to be wrong then too. So don't rely on that, and take this with a grain of salt. Anytime you're looking at any information online, think about one, why is it there? What is the purpose of it? And what do the other parties involved stand to gain or lose? Again, hey, thanks for watching. If you got any value out of this, please click that subscribe button or give me a thumbs up. I'm Steve Turner, the new home specialist. And again, I'm just trying to make sure you're well aware of what's going on in the market and give you some tips and tricks. If there's any way I can help you, write a comment down below. Let me know what kind of information you would like. Okay? I look forward to finding a way to make sure you're well taken care of.